Hey, Evan here. In my practice this week, I stumbled upon a pretty cool way to mix up the major scale. I turned that into a practice and I thought I'd share it with you. In this practice, we're going to jumble up the order of the intervals that we're playing in the major scale. So we're not just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to pick a very specific pattern to focus on, and here's what it sounds like. So let me break that down for you. We're in the key of G major, so we're going to place our root, or our 1, on the 3rd fret of the low E string. That's the first note we'll play. Then we'll play our 6th, then our 2nd, our 4th, our 8th, or our octave, then the 7th, the 5th, and then lastly the 3rd, before we resolve that back to the 1. So our order would be 1, 6, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 3. So the cool thing is that we can move this pattern up to any of the other modes in the major scale. The only thing that we would need to do is modify the intervals to match the changes of that specific mode. So for Dorian, the two things that would change would be that 3 becomes a flat 3 and that 7 becomes a flat 7. But you would play the pattern the same way, just substituting in the flats when you need to. So here's what Dorian sounds like. I can repeat that process for Phrygian or any of the other modes that I want to, just paying attention to the intervals that are changing between that specific mode and the major scale. That's one of the reasons I feel like this exercise is really cool, because it makes you really focus in on those specific interval changes and where they lie, the shape, the sound, all the aspects of what makes one mode different from another. You can modify this exercise by switching up the order of the intervals being played. I would suggest always sticking with 1 as the first note that you play, but then just have fun changing up the order. It doesn't have to be 1 then 6. You could do 1 then 5 and then do the same pattern, but maybe put the 6 where the 5 was. That would be a simple substitution that you could do. Another way that you can modify this is to maybe take away some of the notes. So turn it into a 7-note exercise. That was what I was messing around with. I chose to get rid of the 2 in the practice, and this is what that would sound like. So I like this modification, not only because it's in 7/8, which I think is pretty cool, but also getting rid of that second interval lets me use that as a way to immediately go to the next mode. Let me explain why. So when I play through that, instead of resolving back to the root note, what I can do is resolve down to the second that I skipped and call that now the root note of my new mode position in the same key. So as I started in G, Dorian would be the second mode. So now when I play that last note, I can change that to be my first note and start Dorian right away. So I'll play the Ionian mode and then go directly into the Dorian mode using this 7-note pattern. And you can see how I could continue up each one of the modes with that exercise. So I think that 7/8 version is pretty cool to make a really complicated pattern that goes all the way up the neck, playing in every mode shape until you reach the high octave of that Ionian mode. So I thought to myself, hey, let's just combine both of those practices together into this crazy 15/8 practice in each mode of the major scale. The cool thing is I'll take the first one with all 8 intervals and then play the 7-note interval one after that, which is missing the second interval, which will then link each one of those modes together just the same way as it did in just the 7/8 practice. But now I'm doing it in 15/8, so it's just an even greater challenge for you. So here's that exercise in the 15/8 version. hope you like this exercise as much as I did. I feel like it adds some confusion into some scales that you might already be familiar with and really helps you focus in on those specific interval differences between the major scale and any one of the other modes that exist in the major scale. As always, like and subscribe and leave a comment below and let me know what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.